Hey everyone, it's Sue here. I'm on vacation, but I've made a few videos to put up while I'm gone. One of them is this one, which is my 5-star reads of 2024. Now, at the time of this taping, there's a book I'm hoping to read. This one. I might read this one by the end of the year. And so if it becomes a 5-star read, it's not on my list yet, but I just wanted to shout it out just in case it shows up there. Other than that, I'm going to go through my spreadsheet. I actually made a spreadsheet this year. Usually I just go through my Goodreads, and last year Tori was like, why don't you have a spreadsheet? I'm like, I don't know. Why don't I? So I made a spreadsheet, and it's really awesome. So I'm going to go through my spreadsheet. I should have sorted it, but I didn't think to do that before I printed it off. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you what I rated 5 stars this past year, 2024, and have this go up during the holidays. So it feels a little early to me right now. I think I'm pretty set on what these are, and I don't even know how many I have. I have more 5 stars than a lot of people do for some reason, but I'm okay with that. I'm just going to embrace the fact that I give lots of books 5 stars because I love them. Okay, the first 5-star book I read this year was Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This is the famous octopus book, we call it. The book where their octopus has chapters and we hear his thoughts, and he's in this aquarium and he notices stuff that other people don't notice, and he actually ends up helping the situation that's going on in the book, which is a bunch of relationship stories. We got our older lady, we got our kid, kind of kiddish, kid to me, and all the relationships, and the octopus just kind of gets in the middle of it, and there's a little bit of a mystery, and it's just awesome. The next book I read that was 5 stars is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chobosky. This one is one of the well talked about banned books, and we follow our kid who kind of has a little bit of a, I would say maybe autistic or something. I don't know what his deal is, but he's just a little bit different, and we follow his year in high school. He's trying to make friends, and he's trying to fit in, and it's just kind of a high school coming of age story, and it's really awesome. There are a few moments where it's a little disturbing, which is probably why some people feel like it needs to be banned, but it's not like in a graphic, icky kind of a way. Does that make sense? We Were Dreamers by Simu. This is a memoir I listened to back in February, and I absolutely adored this book. Simu is the celebrity who plays Chanchi. Is that how you say his name? The rings, 7 rings, something rings. Anyway, that one Marvel movie, which is really good. And he also is in Kim's Convenience, and he also, what else does he do? Oh, he was a Ken in Barbie. So if you're not familiar with him, that's who he is. He's really funny. He's really great. He's really awesome. He's Chinese, and he talks about his parents and his grandparents' immigrant stories, and he talks about his struggle with his parents who want him to be a lawyer, a doctor, and he fights against the system, and he works real hard to become an actor, and his story is just really awesome. I love it. Gave Overlap by Trevor Petersen, who is an acquaintance of mine, my daughter's brother-in-law. That makes sense? And he is a psychologist, and he wrote this story about happiness, and it was amazingly well researched, beautifully written, tons of great personal stories, and lots of awesome ideas. A little bit overwhelming on the ideas of how you could live your life better to become happier, but it's really awesome, great book. So I gave that one 5 stars. Also, let's see. Then we have Tree Table Book by Lois Lowry. This is the middle grade book that I went and got signed at her event earlier this year. It's a story about 2 Sophies, I think that's their name, a young one and an old one, and they are great friends. And the old one is starting to become a little maybe dementia, and the young one is trying to save her, trying to keep her from from having to move, basically. And in the process of her trying to help her, some awesome stories come out from the old one. Real heartwarming, tear-jerking stories. When My Name Was Keoko by Linda Sue Park. This was a book I read in May for the Asian Readathon. It's something that's been on my shelf forever also, and I finally read it. I would call it YA. It's not nonfiction. It's a fictionalized story of the author's parents when they were growing up in Korea during the Japanese occupation. And it's very heart-wrenching stories about some of the stuff they had to deal with, but very toned down. I had somebody comment on my review of this saying, it was way worse than this book shows. And I said, I know it was. This book, it tones down the devastation of it, just to give you a little bit of a feel for what it was like. And even that much is pretty heart-wrenching. Really, really well written, and I love Linda Sue Park. This Woven Kingdom was also read in May for the Asian Readathon because of the author Tahereh Mafi. This is the first in a beautiful YA fantasy series that I could feel was loosely based a little bit on Cinderella. I don't know. I don't think I saw or read that anywhere. I just felt the vibes, and it was awesome, and I loved it. It was, if I had to pick like 5 of my top ones, I think that one would be on it. I'm dying to read the sequel. Maybe I will get it for Christmas. I think it is also based on some mythology, from Middle Eastern mythology. Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I also gave 5 stars too. This was an all-consuming book that I could not put down. A big book that I read in several days, which is crazy for me, and whose character just got into my heart, and I was hoping so bad that this kid could figure out his life and break the system and kill that circle that his family was in, and it gave me a little bit of hope. I'm not so sure he did, but maybe he did. I don't know. You're gonna have to read it and tell me what you think. Then I gave 5 stars to Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This book was amazing, so much fun. I don't even know how to describe it. It's a space story. He's in space. He doesn't know why he wakes up. He has amnesia. Then he starts remembering why. There's a problem. He was sent in space to solve this crazy problem. And you have to read the book to find out whether he does or whether he doesn't. It is crazy insane. Then I had a whole bunch of 5 stars, like right in a row, you guys. Eleanor and Park, I did a reread of, and I gave it 5 stars back in the day, and I gave it 5 stars again. I love these characters and this story. This is also a popular book on banned book lists, and I really don't know why it is. This one, I don't know. People are weird. Okay, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, because that was just so much fun to read, and such a great premise, and awesome characters, and very engaging. And I think I said already in some of my reviews that V.E. Schwab is one of my favorite authors, I've decided, and writes in a way that I find completely and totally mesmerizing. And I gave James by Percival Everett 5 stars because this story, the retelling or reimagining of Huckleberry Finn, we follow Jim's character, and he is the best. He seriously is. This has got funny stuff in it, heart-wrenching stuff in it, sad stuff in it, all the things, and it's a fast, easy, quick read. And I think that was the last one on my list of the 5 stars. I don't know how many that is. But if I were to pick, let's say, my top 5, I would probably say this Woven Kingdom, Demon Copperhead, Project Hail Mary, James, and maybe Remarkably Bright Creatures. Oh, and We Were Dreamers. That's 6. 6 tops. And if I was to do some honorable mentions, I would say the whole Heartstopper series, That grabbed me. I loved it. Piranesi, which was a reread, awesome. And perhaps another honorable mention would be A Gathering of Shadows, which is the second book in the Darker Shade of Magic series, and maybe Beartown by Fredrick Bachman. I just really loved all the memoirs I read. Let's just say those for The Measure. The Measure maybe also for an honorable mention. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed hearing what I loved this year. I can't wait to watch all of your year-end favorites lists also. And then we'll see what ends up being on this list next year. It's always so fun to have a whole clean year and you're like, what is going to be the thing that stands out to me this year? Let's go for it. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.